So to start the series off, the first one that I would like to recommend, I actually didn't think I would be interested in when I first started watching it. It was kind of like, I'll try it out to see, but it became a series I really love. So the first anime I recommend that I think you haven't watched but you may like is actually titled Welcome to the Ballroom, and it's about competitive ballroom dancing. Wait, hold on, yes, it is about competitive ballroom dancing. So your first question to me is like, okay, why would I want to watch this anime? I don't even watch competitive ballroom dancing, I assume. So the first reason I believe that you should check it out is the fact that it has a great mix of storytelling. The second is the unique set of characters. The third, of course, they do a really great job of getting you invested in these characters. So to give a quick synopsis, our main character's name is Tatara Fujita, and he really has no goals starting out, no real goals. He's kind of just going through the motions of school, no passions, and a bit of a crybaby, honestly. You know, he's not really a likable character. I mean, he reminds me a bit of Deku in the crybaby aspect. And he gets somewhat intrigued by this girl who does ballroom dancing. Through a series of events, he actually ends up joining this dancing studio, and from that, he becomes interested in that world. So, what's cool about this series, just beyond it being competitive ballroom dancing, is the fact that like their characters really drive the story. Each character has their own set of passions of why they dance, insecurities, struggles, issues, things going on, and this gets highlighted throughout the series. I mean, Tatara has his set of like, you know, not being passionate and finding a new passion, but the other characters you meet, specifically the girls, amazing stories being told. Like, you're gonna go meet the very meek Mako, and she has to find a way to become confident. You're gonna find the nearly perfect Shizuku, which was the girl that I mentioned earlier, and what she has to deal with in that world, being as talented as she is. And then you're gonna eventually meet one of my favorite characters, Chinatsu, being the hot-headed tomboy, conflicts with everybody, and overall is a great character. I don't know if she'll be likable for you all, but to me, I was like, yo, that was the greatest arc. But without giving so much away, the thing is, those three characters and the others and their conflicts really drive the story, while being a competitive anime, being you need to compete. There'll be wins and losses for Tataru, there'll be things he has to get over and learn. Seeing this process of him going from this unlikable dude to an actually cool character by the end of the anime, amidst all the other side stories and characters that you'll see, make this anime really good. The animation on dancing was pretty unique and it was cool to see. I highly recommend this anime if you're willing to check out something that's a bit different, but overall a great story. Alright, a few of you may have heard about the second recommendation if you have tuned in to my Twitch streams. If you need a link to it, I do stream daily. It's in the information section below. It's called Blast of Tempest, or Zetsu no Tempest, the Civilization Blaster. So this anime is actually a personal favorite of mine since it does a cool way of tying in Shakespearean work and a great job of storytelling. One specific work to mention from Shakespeare is The Tempest, which is in the title, so you know, it kind of makes sense when you think about it. But the synopsis of this is that it starts with the murder of Aika Fua. That's the murder of her, but no one knows how she was killed. There's no logical explanation for it. So her stepbrother, Mahiro, one of our main characters, is actually on the search of who did this, why they did it, and how he can take his vengeance. And the other main character, Yoshino, is actually the best friend of both of them, and it rotates around him too. To add on to the mystery, Mahiro and Aika's parents were actually mysteriously murdered a few years ago in the same manner with no explanation. So what actually happened is Mahiro somehow gets in contact with the leader of the Kurosabe Mage Clan. Mage like magic, you know? Mage Clan Hazake Kurosabe. So Hazake says, I can easily figure out the murder of Aika if you help me with only one thing. Through a series of circumstances, Hazake is actually trapped on the island by her clan, and she's looking for Mahiro's help to figure out how he can help her get off the island, and then she'll easily figure it out. But the issue is, if she doesn't get off this island soon, the world will actually be destroyed by the Tree of Exodus, so she really needs their assistance. First, let me speak on the main characters. I really love the main characters of the series, one being Mahiro. Mahiro is a more so arrogant, cocky, you know, spring into battle head first type of guy. He's a pretty cool character, at the same time pretty smart and logical. He honestly reminds me of My Hero Academia's Bakugo a lot, like a lot, but not as hot-headed. The second main character, Yoshino, you would think he's more so like a super nice guy and stuff like that, but he actually can be very logical, a bit cutting, and very witty. So they got two great main characters starting out. The supporting cast and other main characters that come later on, pretty solid. It does a great job of like storytelling, following the story. This anime, the reason why I like it so much is that it has not only action, it has romance, of course a great mystery, a whole bunch of plot twists, and they solve it by the logic of their world in the series. So it's pretty good. It's good. The OST is actually pretty amazing. I have some of their songs on my iPod, iPhone, whatever, but it just is really good. Another thing that I highly recommend this series for is it really has no filler. Even the scenes that you think aren't that important are very important to the overall plot of the series. They make references to each other, and you can just go through a full 24 episodes and say, hey, this is actually a pretty solid series. So I highly recommend this one. I have an art book for it, and it's a pretty solid show. I'll say this, be ready for the plot twist, because there are a few unexpected turns in this series, and it goes places you don't really expect it to go. Not in the bad sense, but just in it being a good show. I just want to say for this recommendation, having a villain as a main character or someone with villain-like traits as your main character is always an interesting take, especially when they're ruthless and willing to kill anyone for their goals. Now what's funny about this one is, I dare say the main character, like physically wise, is probably like a teenager or even younger in this case. But yo, at number 3, I want to tell you about the story of the Saga of Tanya the Evil. If you heard of this one, you know what I'm talking about in this series, but it already has a very bizarre basis for the story, and like the way they do it is actually pretty interesting. Alright, let me take you through it in the synopsis first. You'll see what I mean on this. So basically, an atheist Japanese salaryman that's pretty cold, calculating, and really doesn't care about other people. In the midst of being murdered, meaning like he's about to die, someone pushed him off the rails, the entire world just freezes. A being he refers to called Being X, you know, maybe it's God, maybe we don't know, whatever it is, it's some type of magical being, condemns him for not believing in God. Even in that situation, the salaryman's like, I don't care, I don't believe in you, I don't know what you are, Being X. So Being X decides to sentence him to be sent to another world and reborn as a girl named Tanya. And he says, Being X charges him and says, yo, if you do not die a natural death in this life, and if you don't eventually succumb to believe in me, then you're going to hell. And in this new world he's in, they actually have magic, not in the sense of like Harry Potter or traditional fire magic, but in wars they have these magic properties, I'll say, that can influence their guns, like they can fly with the magic things they have. Like it's pretty interesting. I don't know what to title it as, but it is pretty cool. They have this magica technology in a sense, right? And Tanya, trying to live a normal life amidst this world filled with war, it's like, you know what, I'm going to actually sign up for the war and try to get up as high as I can, and in that I'll be fine. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let me get a high general position, or let me do what I can to end this war quickly. So Tanya, in this child form, actually becomes this high-ranking officer that's consistently sent to war. Being X always messes with Tanya in some sense by setting up an enemy, setting up a battle, either helping or harming her in this sense. And the thing is, since this person was a very logical and calculating person, they know about war. They know that they need to read about it and figure out the rules of the war. Like, I like that they logically figure out what they need to do in a situation while being an amazing fighter blessed with magic or whatever. So what's cool about this is Tanya is in a consistent state of war. Even if they logically figure out how to solve it, they have to fight. Another thing is Tanya is extremely cold-hearted. I won't go into all the details of some of the things that she's done, but she's let some people be like, oh, you wish for death? Alright, you're dead. You know what I mean? Like, it's like she's extremely cold. She's known as the evil, and she's a well-known soldier, both on the ally side and the enemy side, and targeted at because of Being X. So it's a pretty bizarre basis, but it's actually a really good story. For those that actually like darker anime like Overlord or Death Note or things with a little darker take, I highly recommend you watch the Saga of Tanya the Evil, for the sole fact that this isn't like a cookie cutter, nice, friendly ending anime. Like, Tanya's actually pretty savage. So I highly recommend this one. So recommendation number 4. This anime is a combination of Mean Girls, fan service, Gundam Seed, Knights and Princesses, and has a primarily all-female cast. So what's the name of this anime, if that intrigues you? It's called Crosseyed Tin Sheets no Rondo. So let me first go over what Crosseyed is, then I'll give my general thoughts. So this story revolves around Princess Angelise, right? But she's eventually found out that she's a Norma in this world, meaning she can't really use magic. And then she's sent to an all-ladies jail, bullied in there, and forced to pilot a knight to fight what they call dragons in their world to actually protect the entire world. Crazy, right? Like that's a major shift from a princess to jail to force this. So let me go over each aspect. It's a Mean Girls aspect by the fact that when she's thrown in this lady's jail, of course she's a new girl on the block, so she's not going to be treated right. It's Gundam because she has to pilot these knights to protect against these beings that are trying to kill them. And you gotta figure out what these beings are, why they're attacking, and why they're in this situation. It's like Orange is the New Black because granted, it's an anime, a little bit lewd, and it's all female. I'll leave that up to your own imagination in that realm. But at the beginning of the series, I can't lie, you know, it starts with an interesting basis. It gets kind of near the beginning, but as time goes on, characters get better, attitudes change, and plot develops. This anime really outshines a lot of others. It's pretty underrated. I highly recommend it because the change in Anj, like Anj honestly does not start off as a good character. If you think about it, she was a princess, she was pampered her whole life, you sent her to jail, and it sucks. But Anj eventually becomes one of the greatest female protagonist leads, in my opinion, as the story develops. It takes a while, but once it gets there, like, she's not only snarky, she's confident, she's bold, she's a fighter, and she's taking out these dragons, and she drives the plot. So I highly recommend you check out Cross Anj. I really like the series, but it's one of those you do have to stick with a bit, and then you just like, you know what, yo, Anj is actually raw. At the beginning, you're gonna be like, nah, I'm not really with Anj, but eventually, you really like her as a protagonist that drives the story. And it's very interesting indeed. So I encourage you to check out that one. For my last recommendation in this top 5, I wanted to make sure I recommended at least one ongoing anime. And I almost recommended That Time I Reincarnated as a Slime, but I kind of do reviews on it, so I just wanted to push that one to the side. If you watch my YouTube, you already know I recommend that one. So for this one, I highly recommend it because it's funny, I really like it, it's a pretty funny basis, and I think you'll just really enjoy it. It's called Zombieland Saga. If you know what it is, you've probably seen it and probably had a good time watching it. But the basis about this is, this story is about 7 girls that are going to be coached to become idols, like pop idols and things of that nature. But the catch is, all of them are zombies. Yeah, zombies like Walking Dead, you know, their hands come off, their head can come off. These guys are dead and have been revived. So the funny part about it is, in this cutesy art style, anime art style, is that these girls are zombies, and their dude that, like, the leader, I believe his name is Kotaro Tatsumi, he leads them in a very funny way, has some hilarious lines, they have some interaction like, yo, what the crap, we didn't ask to be zombies, and it's just funny, man. You see them rap, you see them sing, you see them come together. They have such a unique set of personalities. Like, there's a biker girl gang leader that's been revived. There's a traditional Japanese girl. There's a high school one. Like, it's pretty funny just seeing what they do and the fact they realize they're a zombie. And there's one girl, I'm not caught up yet, to where she's literally hasn't been, like, brought back to her memories haven't came back. So she's literally just a straight up zombie walking around like Walking Dead. Like, it's been pretty funny. Strange scenario, but I've been laughing every episode so far. I'm still watching it. I believe it's up to episode 9 right now, and you should check it out. I really like it. It's a feel good and funny anime, and it's just overall good. Like, there's really not too much to say about it other than it's pretty funny. So I highly recommend Zombieland Saga for a good laugh, bizarre basis for the plot, and yeah, it's smooth. And yeah, that's my top 5 recommendations of anime you haven't seen but you should check out. Let me know in the comment section some of your favorites you feel that people either haven't seen or haven't heard of that they should check out. And I would love to hear your feedback for those that have heard this video, maybe a series you're willing to check out. Maybe you could be like, I actually have seen that and I liked it, or I didn't like it. Like, I would love to hear feedback on that. I'm thinking of making this a series by the sole fact that this video started out as a top 10 anime you haven't seen. Like, I had a lot of them, and even within 10 I had like easily 15 to 20 that I could have said in this video. But, you know, instead of me just throwing all of them out there, I decided I might make this a series. Let me know if you want this to be a thing to be ongoing, because I got a few other series I love, man. I'm halfway tempted to spoil it now, but let me save it. Do let me know in the comment section how you felt about it. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you do enjoy the content and video. And yo, you all have a great one. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. See you later.